Hey, everybody, and welcome to Pathways.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
This is actually an episode that I've been waiting to make happen for a long time, the whole Grenadian STEAM team, because it's something that we really wanted to do to be able to reach out to students and get you to talk with us and just understand what exactly is going on in student lives these days. So I'm really glad that you're all here and ready to get into this. I feel like there's a lot going on for students these days. Y'all will correct me if I'm wrong, but with all the on again, off again school and classes and online classes and learning, and that seems like a lot of madness to me. So the fact that y'all are able to take the time and do something like this really says a lot. So thank you again. Now, for the record, can everybody introduce themselves to the listeners? Say your name, what form you're in or year, and where you're from.
So my name is Corey Joseph, and I'm from Corinth St. David's. I'm a student of the T.A. Marisha Community College, and I'm currently studying building technology, and I'm in my second year.
Cool, thank you.
My name is Shanta Gabriel. I attend the St. John's Christian Secondary School. I am in Form 5 and I stay in Guelph St. John.
My name is Joshua Mitchell. I attend the St. John's Christian Secondary School. I am currently in Form 3 and I am from Guelph St. John.
Well, my name is Joshua Handel. I'm 18 years old and I am a year 2 at the T.A. Marisha Community College studying business. I'm from Paradise St. Andrews.
My name is Makana Joseph. I'm from Guelph. I'm 4 years in school. That's secondary school, and my career is to be a meteorologist.
All right. Thanks. So, first question. What do you all want to be when you grow up? Oh, wait, don't actually answer it yet. Because honestly speaking, how do you even feel whenever somebody asks you that? What's your initial response?
So initially, I was very sure on what I wanted to be when I initially entered fantasy.
Okay.
However, now that I've been exposed to a bigger world, I've seen way more career paths, and I can see myself picking a multitude of careers. But so far, I'm leaning towards the utilities and processing engineer and civil engineering. And I love architecture, but I'm not too good at it. I'm not the most creative. So I tend to shy away from architecture, even though I have a burning passion for it.
Okay, interesting. I want to talk more about that, maybe even offline. But okay, thanks, Corey. Anybody else?
With me, usually when people, at first when they asked me this, I wasn't really sure on what I wanted to do. And as I came in secondary school, and I had seen most subjects along that line. And as we go along in the years, and I realized, we get more opportunity as technology better than develops. So I'm still kind of unsure on what I want to do, but most likely it's going to be along your technology and engineering base.
And Joshua, you're in Form 3 right now, so you have some decisions to make soon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally when someone asks me that, I normally smile and do a little chuckle because, to me, I would like to go into different career paths. So it's really difficult when someone asks me, yo, Joshua, what would you like to be in the future? It's very difficult for me to give one specific answer. So most times I just say something like an entrepreneur, some loose term like that or something. But what I'd like to be, the first career I'd like to go into, or the one that I'd like to specialize in, is investment banking or private equity. The original reason was because, to speak in 21st century terms, I didn't see any other way to get the bag, you understand, secure the bag, make a lot of money in a short space of time. But through just researching and talking to people, getting more knowledge on both career paths, I think it's something that I'm very interested in, something that I have a natural knack for, something that doesn't take a lot out of me and I enjoy. I don't necessarily want to do something in the future that takes a lot out of me that I get a little from. So it's a job that I'd be able to grow as a person, essentially grow holistically in all areas of my life, and I'll be happy while doing it. So that's why I chose to those careers.
At the times when my friends asked me what I wanted to be, and I told them radiologist, they look like, what is that? And I tell them, well, more to study of the weather. And they were like, I thought it was weatherman. So I said it had a specific name for me. Like, sometimes 5 minutes is sunny, and then all of a sudden it's just changing. Rainy stand falling. I was interested into digging in that topic, so I chose it.
We like to understand why the weather changes how it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Chantal, what about you?
Well, when I first entered secondary school, I wanted to be a doctor, but as I went in higher form, I had a different career to choose from, and now I have to decide on which one I want to do.
Why do you want to be a doctor?
I just like helping my people and stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. All right. So now that that's out of the way, what is student life for y'all like right now? So secondary school to MCC might be a little bit different, but like what's your day to day?
So student life now is, I really don't know what to make of student life now. It's so, it's like a roller coaster of sorts, you know. It took me about 2 months to get accustomed to online school. And when I did get accustomed to online school, I had to readjust back to the face-to-face school now. And that's a bit of a challenge for me because online school, I had a whole flow going. I had my workstation set up at home. Initially, I was just lying on my bed or whatever. But then I realized, okay, if I have to be productive, I have to have a workstation and be productive, treat it as I was actually going to school. The climate in school is, I would say, is not conducive for my learning. I can't say for others, but for me,
Why you say
it's
that?
not the best. For many reasons. First of all, you're always on alert, especially with given the current situation in Grenada with how many cases we have right now. You're always on alert. So you always have to be watching around you, seeing who wearing their mask. Sometimes even teachers would neglect the COVID protocols or whatever. Another reason is just it's not the same. It hasn't been the same ever since the pandemic has started with the online school and whatnot. It just hasn't been the same. I'm a person, if I get accustomed to one type of learning, it's very hard for me to revert back. But the pandemic has taught me I have to be a bit more flexible with my learning style. And so the pandemic has taught me a lot.
Yeah. All of
It
us,
has.
right? Okay. Who else wants to chime in?
Well, as Corey said, I really have the same opinion because right now a lot of the stuff is unpredictable because with the time switches, you go from online then back into person. So it's been, kind of not really a struggle, but a hassle, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everything being taken into consideration is very difficult as a student. On my part, it's very difficult for me, particularly because there are a lot of things that would try to split you or try to pull out different aspects of your character. So if you're not set on who you are, what you want to be in the future, your morals, values, etc., everything that's going on right now, as a student, it would sway because I know people who just gave up on school. They're bright individuals, smart, fun to be around, but their whole character, everything just changed because of everything combined right now, it just shift. They weren't able to, block it out. So it's very difficult, and that happened to many of my friends. I would say it's very difficult to be a student now because everything going on is just so hard on individuals, well, a student mentally, spiritually as well, and economically too.
It affects us negatively because most of the times I only have one class per week for one subject. So when I try to remember what was taught, it will be more than likely difficult. And then we will have more than one project, then we have tests, and it's a lot.
And is school for you more in person or more virtual now?
It's face to face.
Okay.
Well, it's stressful right now because when they're home, they're online on Zoom and I'm not seeing the teachers much, so we don't really get in the STEAM thing done in time and stuff. So
Yeah, and you're in Form 5, so you have CXC coming up. What is there anything? I know like last year, I think some of the dates got pushed and so on. Do y'all even know when CXC is going to start? Are you going to finish the curriculum?
well, we're trying to finish it before May.
Yeah, that must be rough. Like even, so Corey, you were saying that a lot of it's not the same as it was before, right, with school. Do you even have extracurricular activities and stuff like that still?
That's actually that's crazy because I'm actually involved in a lot of extracurricular activities in my school, given the current situation. So currently I'm in 2 extracurricular activities on compound and 1 off compound, all of which I'm very dedicated to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my extracurricular life hasn't been affected in any way by the pandemic, I would say. Although there are things that I would like to be more involved in, such as hiking and so on. But because of the pandemic, I can't be involved in those clubs. But I wouldn't say the pandemic has affected my extracurricular life as much as others may have been affected.
That's good. When you started TAMCC, the pandemic had already hit.
Yes. I was at EF students in 2020 with the first wave of
so it's
COVID-19.
kind of all you've ever known. Okay.
Yes, this is all I've ever known for the last 3 years. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Chantal, you look like you wanted to say something.
No.
Okay. All right. So this is a bit of maybe a different question for each of you, but are y'all planning to go to university?
Yeah.
Chantal said yes.
Yes, I am planning to go to university.
Okay. Yeah, so am I. Based on what I'm at Form 3 at the moment. So based on what I do from Form 3 to Form 5, so I should be preparing to go.
Well, the career that I'd like to get into, investment banking or private equity, I would need a university education or a bachelor's or master's in a specific area. However, all of the other career paths, for example, software engineering, day traders, all of that stuff, I'd be able to learn it online or take a non-traditional route. For example, go to a software engineering boot camp or something like that. So other than being a private equity or private equitist or investment banker, I would say that to me, university was definitely not in the picture. Because I believe that everything that you like to learn, it's already somewhere on the internet and you'd be able to access it and you'd be able to better yourself. But I do like learning, I do like education. So for me to become an investment banker or private equitist, then yes, I would need to go to university. So yeah, university is in the picture for me in the future.
I'm not too sure about university yet, but I'll be going to college.
Do you have an idea of what type of path you want to take into meteorology. So, for instance, there might be, like your friends would say, a weatherman, like that could be one option, or there's more in-depth, like scientific parts of it where you can be doing research and so on. So have you looked into any of that to kind of understand what you want to do or how you'll get there?
Yes, they actually do also go and like check the wind speed and stuff for like hurricanes and stuff. That's the specific one I wanted.
Do you have like a pretty good idea of, I guess, like why do you want to go to university?
So I'm at that stage in my life where I have to start to think about universities, or this might just be the end of my education, my life as a student. So I'm thinking about a university. As which one in particular I have in mind, I don't have one in particular in mind that I wish to go to. I have a couple that I would like to go to, but yeah, I'm at that stage where if I don't start to think about universities now, then yeah, this will be the end of my life as a student, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chantel, what was your reason?
For me, just following the education in university would be a good idea for me.
It's just like the next step, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you don't know for sure what you want to get into yet, which is fine. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I guess what I'm trying to go with that, like, who do you, for each of you, anybody can answer. Is there anybody or any like group of people who you feel like you're able to go to with questions? So maybe it's, should I go to university, or for Corey, like which university should I go to? Do you have like people at school who help you with that? Of course, you can always ask your teachers, which I hope y'all make use of. But like, do you have those conversations with anybody at all, even if it's your family?
Well, I've never actually spoken to my teachers about my career paths. Any of my lecturers, I'm not sure if they even know what I want to be in the future. But I do have mentors. I have two that I go to whenever I'd like to find out, because they're both in finance. One previously was in investment banking, and the other works in Grenada. He's the manager of a bank. So they're both in finance. So they both know what it takes, the path to get where I would like to go. So yeah, I just go to them. I would probably call or text them to let me know when they're free with meetup, and they would answer my questions to the best of their ability.
Nice. Okay, so you touched on something that I want to get to next, but I'll go to Makana first. So Makana, what about you? Who do you talk to, if anyone at all?
Talk to my physics teacher, because he really told me that he experienced like seeing what they have done and stuff. So yeah.
I have to admit, I have been very irresponsible with my education coming into TAMCC, because I was under the impression that building technology would just catapult me into the building field. And when I really started to get serious and kind of concerned about, okay, let me start thinking about which university I should go to, what should I do, and what path should I take, I started to discover that an associate's degree in building technology at TAMCC may not cut it to do engineering per se, which I wish to do. So yeah, I wish I had a bit more information about that. Nobody was there. I asked many questions, honestly. I asked many persons, and everybody was encouraging me, yeah, this is, you should do this at TAMCC and whatnot. But upon further research, yeah, that's far from the truth. So I have myself to blame for that. But yeah, other than that, I had a couple of people that were guiding me along the way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you only know as much as you know, right? And you don't know. Sometimes if you don't know what you don't know, then you don't know what questions to ask. So, I mean, yeah, research is always good, but you can only find out so much on your own. I actually did building tech at TAMCC, and I was also able to do physics and math for CAPE, which was rough, and I had to beg for it basically, but they let me do it. And then I went on to study architecture for my bachelor's degree. So I also know a lot of people who did engineering, and yeah, math and physics is important to have, or it's useful to have. It's not that you can't get into it based on where you are right now, but yeah, you might want to consider taking some classes on the side or something to help with your college applications.
Yeah, so my plan is initially I wanted to do math, physics, so pure math, applied math, and physics in my second year of college, because I didn't want to be held up too much when I was finished with college. But my advisors, they strongly advised that I didn't do that, because year 2 for building technology students is one of the hardest years.
Yeah.
So they advised that I do it when I'm finished with TAMCC. So that's a plan.
Okay.
I hope to do my CAPE module 1 when I'm finished with TAMCC.
Okay. Honestly, like the building tech is going to be helpful too, just having that technical side of things. So it's not a bad thing that you did. All right, Joshua.
With me, I didn't really, ask, many people on university. I just went off background knowledge, because I know, after you finish secondary school comes college, or maybe even you just go straight to university. So the most I really had on it was, family members encouraging me to, get a good education so you could go to university and, develop, better education at that, so you could have a stable career in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, all right. Let's hear from Chantel first, and then I'll put my 2 cents in.
It's mostly teachers in school. I asked about university because they went in university. And then so I wanted to know, what will that be like to go to university?
What it's like?
Yeah.
So do you have any idea where you would want to go? Like there's SGU, there's the States, there's every other country in the world. You have any preference?
No.
Okay. So university it's what you make it at the end of the day. It's tough. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Especially if you go to a different country, there's on top of, acclimating to the different school environment, you have to acclimate to a different cultural environment. Even if it's the States, you might think, oh, they speak English and you watch it on TV all the time, but it's different being in a different situation that you're used to. So not to scare you or anything, but I feel like people need to have more open conversations about this. So honestly, it's a switch, and you have to be mentally prepared for anything like that. But at the same time, it's as Corey was saying, research is really important because, for instance, I chose to go to a school in Chicago in the US, mostly because they were giving me the best scholarship that I could find. And I just wanted to go abroad somewhere. After the fact, I talked to a lot of people who were might have gone to Europe, or I have a friend who's in Argentina, and they're able to get free education in different countries, because all the countries, especially in Europe, give free education at university level. You also want to make sure that you choose something that is a good fit for your interests and what you want to do. Because every school is different, and it might have the same degree. It might be chemistry everywhere, it might be, architecture, but every school would teach a little bit different. And all of that stuff is things that you can find out online, quick Google search, or by talking to people, either talking to people who have gone there, even if you don't know them, Like social media is, y'all are all over it. Don't play like you're not. And it's so easy to find people on there, who can tell you about what life was like for them when they went to such and such school. So what university is like, it's a challenge. It's fun because you get to meet a lot of new people. Especially in a different country, you get to live a different life, right? From what you're used to. It's a lot of late nights, sleepless nights, a lot more than you have right now. You might think you're stressed right now, but y'all haven't seen stress yet. And it's just an experience. Like, you will definitely come out of university knowing a lot more, like knowledge wise, and then just having so much more wisdom just because of what you had to go through. Some might say it's unnecessary, the like rigor, and so it's just like making you go crazy for no reason. But at the end of the day, you do take something away from it. And also, like, if university is not your thing, it's not your thing. Like, not everybody has to go to university. Yes, a degree is very important in this day and age, but there are also other ways to develop yourself, like gaining skills. Career and technical skills are very like what's the word? Like very well paid, one, and like highly recommended in a lot of different places because people are losing these skills. So it's good to have stuff like that you're able to do. So long answer to your question, Chantal, but that's what I can say about university.
Something that you said really spoke to me. You said that your reason for going to the university in Chicago was one because of scholarship, and the other you just wanted to go somewhere abroad. That second reason, I can relate to that a lot, because there is an opportunity for me to study in UE in St. Augustine, but I really desire a change of scenery.
Yeah.
Right now, I want to see the bigger world. I want to experience different cultures, different people, and yeah, I think that plays a big part for me when I'm looking for a university. So I already like take off the Caribbean off my list. I'm just looking for somewhere where I could experience different cultures and different people.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, nothing against the Caribbean. I would have loved to go study at UTech in Jamaica or anywhere like that. And I know a lot of people who did. But yeah, like the experience, just being able to completely be in a different culture and like experience all of that. I almost wish I had gone somewhere a little bit more different, like learn. I love languages, and like I wish I went somewhere that I could have learned a different language. Because if you're there for 3 to 5 years, you're gonna learn something, right? But yeah, it's everybody is different, and it's whatever interests you is what you should. That's the path you should follow. But do your research and talk to people. Cool. All right. So we talked a little bit about like who you talk to or to make decisions and so, but is mentor a word that any of you use or hear or know what it means at all? Have you ever had or heard of a mentor?
Yes, I have.
Yes, since I've heard the word before.
Yeah, I've heard of the word mentor before, and I have a little bit of knowledge on what it means.
Is that something that you all hear among, like a word that you hear among your peers at all? So Joshua has a mentor or a couple mentors, but do you hear your friends talking about mentors? Is that a topic of discussion?
Among my friends, I wouldn't say it's a topic of discussion. They know what a mentor is of the person, their job, their role, etc. But other than that, I don't think many people are interested or educated enough to have a conversation about mentors.
So you say educated enough. What does that mean to you? Like in terms of what?
Well, many people, they would just hear the term mentor. Well, from the people that I've spoken with, whenever they're like, hey, how do you know about this term? How do you get so advanced in this, etc.? Oh, I spoke to my mentor about it. Like, wow, you have a mentor? What's that? And I'm like, well, essentially, and I go on to explain it to them. And it's the number of people that I've had to do that with. I mean, I'm like, wow, so many of these people they don't have education on mentors. I mean, there's not necessarily a specific place where you could just go and say, hey, I'd like a mentor, which to me is a disadvantage to many students in college, secondary school, etc. But yeah.
So, where did you even come across the idea of a mentor?
The idea of a mentor.
Yeah.
So my POB teacher in Form 4, I would consider myself, everybody else in school would have considered myself a slacker. So in Form 4 to Form 5, well, Form 1 to Form 4, but my POB teacher, he was like, you need to stop doing this, etc. Have you ever thought about getting a mentor? And I was like, what is that? Then he explained it to me and I was like, well, sir, I really look up to you. You could be my mentor. And he was like, that's not a problem. And from there, he got me, he taught me a lot of stuff. He got me to be a better person, introduced me to different aspects or different ways of doing specific stuff in life. And from there, I just told myself, okay, this is the field I like to get into. So it'd be good for me to get some mentors or at least one mentor in the field in Grenada or somewhere in the Caribbean. And from there, I just started to tell my mother about it. Any of the adults, if they would have met anyone who's in that field, then they would try to see if I would be able to get in contact with them.
Okay, great. McKenna, what about you? Is mentor a word you use or your friends use?
Well, for me, it's the first time I'm hearing it.
Okay. So you haven't heard anyone discuss it, but from what Joshua said, is that even something that you would be interested in?
Yes.
Well, I could say I have a mentor.
Okay.
I have an ongoing mentor. I have had a mentor since secondary school. Just someone I could go with any question really. As far as calling him a mentor or saying this is my mentor, no, I don't have
fair.
anyone. Yeah, I don't have anyone like that. But I do have someone who I could go to ask for advice and such and such.
That's good. And what is there? Go ahead, Joshua.
Yeah, I was gonna add on to Corey. Like I have, someone, or I am one like that. Like I could go to one person in particular for advice, to help me with certain stuff, and usually I will help people too.
Good. That's like the two-way thing is important, and it's good that you recognize that it's something you can do at this age. What, if anything, do you enjoy about that relationship that you have with your quote-unquote mentor?
It's more like, I want to say, an ongoing relationship, because it's mainly the trust you really need in the person. Because at certain points, you want to tell them really personal stuff along the lines of a mentor. And at the same time, you or the person does not want to go on with the name of a mentor. Because I guess that's one thing what people don't like. Like, let's say therapy, for example. Most people are afraid of the word therapy. They think, they're in need of help, they're different from the rest. When in reality, they just really want someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's why, I don't really want to consider myself as a mentor or the person I go to as a mentor.
That's interesting. So are you saying there's kind of a stigma against needing help, even if it's not mental help, but even a mentor?
Yeah, I would say. Mainly, most people, they don't really want to go on that category or title. From I guess my experience.
Okay.
Well, I would say yes, there's a stigma, because whenever following up, when students ask me or my friends ask me what is a mentor, they normally say, so what is the purpose of that? Why would you want a mentor? Why do you think that you're quote unquote all that? Or why do you think that, etc., etc., etc.? So I think that there is a stigma, and I think that they view it in the wrong way. rather than viewing it in the positive way, which it is.
Interesting. Yeah, because I've heard this idea that, oh, there's a stigma, and I'm like, I never thought of it, but what actually made me think more is that the person said it's similar to therapy, right? And the idea of needing help or admitting that you need help, which is very unfortunate also with the therapy and mental health thing. But yeah, I never thought of those two as similar at all until that person said so.
Well, actually, as you brought that up, I remember someone telling me pretty much about the same thing. They were like, "Oh, so you need help to get where you want to get," and they said that, and I was not thinking about it like that. I was like, "Wait, what?"
Which isn't even a problem. Like, yes, we do all need help to get where we want to get, but yeah, crazy. McKenna, you have any thoughts on that? I just like wonder from the secondary school perspective if like, so you said you would be interested in having a mentor, but would you feel ashamed to tell your friends that you had a mentor?
No, I will feel a little proud because I have someone to help me to go on the right path to where I want to go.
Corey, let me hear what you were going to say.
Okay, for me, trust is when I'm looking for, well, if I was to look for a mentor, I would trust. Once I could trust that person, and I could tell that person, feel comfortable to tell that person what my dreams are and I'm going to go about it, and that person is not going to judge me, and I'm not going to feel like I'm looked down upon for doing that, then yeah, that's what I look for in a mentor, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's good. I think that's really important, that trust, because kind of even going back to like the therapy analogy, like you're not going to go tell somebody all your business and your struggles if you just think they're going to go share with everybody, right? So being able to trust them and know that they have your best interest in mind too is really important. So Chantal, for you didn't say exactly that you have a mentor or anyone you would consider a mentor. Is that something that you would be interested in, like, or that you're looking for at all?
So I consider my auntie a mentor because she always there for me and she always helps me when I need her and stuff.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, family is also really helpful. And again, like it doesn't have to have the label of mentor on it, right? But just somebody that you feel like you could talk to. So that's really good. All right. So, y'all, what is something, we're going to take a left turn here, but I think you're all kind of considered Gen Z, right? Not millennials anymore. What is something that you think us older people or like even older generations misunderstand about you all?
Well, I think we're misunderstood in quite a few ways, actually. So the first one and the biggest one, I think, the older generations under the impression that Gen Zs are lazy, which I have to say it is true to some extent, because but that's just because of given the situation. There's way easier ways to make money than going out and using your hand and physically doing something. You could make $1 million now at the back of your by just staying in your room, staying behind a desk. That's my biggest. Yeah, I just feel like we're misunderstood in that light. We're perceived as a lazy generation, and I think that is credited to we are in the technological era, or we grew up in that era. We grew up like when smartphones were on the rise and all that.
Everything at your fingertips.
Yeah, everything at our fingertips. Mm-hmm. So that's we're misunderstood in that light as well. Another light I think we're misunderstood in is some reason they think we're rude when we just voicing our concerns. I have a lot of conversations with my granduncles and my grandaunts, and they tend to say I'm rude when I have conversations with them and talk to them about some stuff. Just because I don't share the same opinion as them, they say I'm rude, and they say, okay, no, yeah, and this is this, and this is that, and they don't like change. They don't like change. So just let me share a bit about myself. So I am a very open person. I do not, I'm taking a bit of a right turn myself. I do not judge anybody based on their sexuality or anything like that. And I feel like the older generations, they're very conservative and they tend to do that. But I'm under the impression that if you were to go out into the bigger world where I have to be careful what I'm saying, where this is accepted, this is the norm, you cannot have a mentality where you put a block against these people and you just, you know, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. And we're seen as like a distasteful bunch for thinking like that or for accepting these kinds of things. Yeah.
I can relate. Thank you for sharing that. Chantal, what do you feel?
For me, I was about to say something like what Corey said. So
Yeah, you can say it in your own way. Let's hear it.
Well, they think right now we're lazy because we always home, and we're inside on devices 24/7, and we're not outside like how they used to be outside when they was young. But when we're inside, they don't know that we're not using devices to play game and watch movie, but we're using for something educational.
So what do you use your devices for?
Mostly to watch videos with Max and IT.
Yeah, okay. Like tutorials kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Joshua, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, like what Corey said, I guess because since, we are the generation right now, we have more opportunities than what they had back then. So like we have easier ways, easier access, to make money, develop a future. Because like right now, we have so many opportunities, like different apps. Every day you're seeing something new is coming up, the field of technology, and they wasn't really accustomed to that. Just want, based on labor or hard working. So they see us as lazy, and the attitudes towards it, I guess nowadays you can't really have your own opinion, but at the same time, it's your opinion. You should be free of your speech, but it's a hard thing that people accept now.
Well, there are many that I'll think about, but for some reason, like all of them, they aren't coming to my head right now. Okay. But one I would say is that I don't think they understand the help that we actually need, because when that particular person told me, so you need help to get to where you want to go, it really got me thinking, like, is that actually how most people think? Is that why they don't have mentors? Is that why they view this a specific way? And when I really sat down and tried to analyze and assess the whole situation, it's really an all man for themselves kind of vibe that I get from my friends in college. And they don't think that you should be helping others. They don't think that you should be you should get help for yourself, etc. and stuff like that. So I really don't think that they understand how much help that our generation actually needs when it comes to guidance. There isn't much emphasis on therapy, mental health, counselors, and stuff like that. And I think there needs to be a focus on those areas.
Interesting. Wow. So that answer was more about your peers and less about like older generations. But that's a really interesting point that I wasn't expecting. So thanks for sharing that. Makana, what about you? What do you think older people don't understand about you or about your age group?
Well, the teachers in the school tell us like we have potential, but we're not using it the right way.
Okay. You know what they mean when they say not using it the right way?
I think we study too much social media than schoolwork.
You think that's true?
Well, from my perspective, in my age group, well, most of it is true because most of them spend most of their time on social media.
Just to add on what Chantal said about what when you asked what she watches on what she uses her devices for.
Yeah.
I use my devices for a lot of stuff, you know. My friends always tell me I know a lot of obituary stuff, like a lot of random stuff, and that is credited to years and years of just watching random videos on YouTube, just random stuff. I do not like the whole stigma out there, the whole trend on YouTube now with the couples and the stuff. I do not like that. I go on YouTube and I would watch like science, you know. Even I don't some of the videos I don't understand them, but I just watch them. And yeah, technology, just random stuff, a lot of random stuff as well, history. Yeah, so my friends always tell me I know a lot of random stuff, so yeah, and that's credited to YouTube, honestly.
Yeah, it's strange because I think I'm a millennial, right? And so I'm in that, like, I didn't have a cell phone until I was Form 2, like late Form 1, Form 2. And it was those chunky ass Nokias, right? But like, we grew up in the TV and not radio so much, but TV, and like you can't just get what you want when you want it. You have to sit down and watch the commercials, right? But I'm also growing up and like coming of age in this technology era. So we're kind of on both sides of it. But I also I completely feel what y'all are saying about like being misunderstood and people thinking, oh, if you're on your computer, you're wasting your time, when there's a lot of valuable information that you can find online, and a lot of, to like Joshua's point, a lot of money to be made by just doing things on your computer online. So thank you, because that was kind of enlightening. I feel like there's a lot of overlaps with your generation and mine. So none of that was really a shocker, but it's really interesting to hear. I'll put it into words like that. So I appreciate you sharing. So what are your hopes and your plans for the future? It doesn't have to be academic related. Just when your future comes to mind, what do you want it to look like?
Whenever I think of my future, all I think about is traveling, because I like to travel the world. I like to try new things. So I'd be traveling, doing the most craziest type of stuff: skydiving, bungee jumping, swimming with sharks, probably without a cage, you never know. Oh. So, yeah, I'll be finding myself in the most questionable situations for sure, because that's the kind of person that I am. I'll also be trying to get to know more people. Yeah, definitely, for sure. So traveling, getting to know more people, languages. I mean, if I'm traveling, I have to learn new languages.
Yeah.
So yeah, languages as well. And yeah, just acquiring new skills along the way.
Nice. Do you know any other languages right now?
Yeah, I can actually speak Spanish, and I'm not sure if it's an official language, but growing up, my friends and I used to speak Pig Latin or Gypsy.
Okay.
So for me, my end goal is financial freedom. and just being happy on a whole. Um, for me, I wish to be an entrepreneur, and in that, I do not want to become a slave to the work, but I want to be diligent enough to leave people to have diligent people in my company so they can do the work that I'm supposed to do, and enjoy not just work until I reach a grave, but actually get to enjoy my achievements and my success. Um, yeah, from a young age, I've always been very ambitious. I also wish to have a couple investments. I'm so angry that I was too young when Bitcoin came out. To this day, I'm so very angry that
I was gonna ask if any of you have an NFT yet.
No. I've only recently discovered NFTs. Actually, I've heard of it before. Like you see it on your phone every day, like NFTs. You see this option to turn it on, but I've never really understood what were NFTs. But I've understood it recently. A friend of mine explained it to me, and I think it's a great idea. Actually, they sell for a lot of money. But just going back on topic, I'm very angry that I was like this tall when Bitcoin came out. If I was of age, then I would have invested in Bitcoin, I believe. I'm always browsing the internet for new ways to invest my money. Although my money may not be a lot.
Yeah.
What little I may have, I'm looking to invest that. So yeah, my end goal is just financial freedom. I want to have a business and I want to have a family as well. And I want to leave something for my kids. I want to leave a legacy for my kids. I want to leave something for my kids, a legacy for my kids and their kids, hopefully.
Yeah. That's cool. On the investing note, it's never too early or too late to start investing. Doesn't matter if you have $1, that dollar will grow to thousands by the time you're ready to use it. So definitely look into that, all of you. All right. Chantel.
Well, for me, I want to be financial stable.
What does that mean to you?
Well, have money that when you see somebody on the road and they don't have money to buy certain things for themselves, go help them out, or give them a home maybe, help them to start their own career if they cannot.
Okay, I see the doctor thing, wanting to help people. Nice. Okay, what else do you see?
Then I would to start a family if it's possible to do that. Then just enjoy life while I can.
Amen to that. Cool. Joshua, what about you?
For me, I want my career to be like, okay, like I made it. Like I'm happy with what I accomplished along the years. I'm proud of myself, and I made people proud along the way. Those who didn't believe, then they saw the outcome, the elevation of that. I want to be, as the others said, financially stable. Well, yeah. I just want to make sure, I was proud of myself for what I accomplished along the way.
I'm glad the first thing you said is proud of yourself, because it can be very stressful when you feel like there's pressure from other people to do the right thing or to do what they want you to do. So if anything I leave with y'all today, I want it to be that your life is yours. And of course, especially if you're living under your parents' roof, you have to abide by their rules. But like society and people will always talk. And at the end of the day, you have to decide what is going to make you happy in the long term. Because you all said that you want to be happy and financially stable. And only the things that bring you joy can get you there. So Awesome. Y'all were very great guests to have. I would love to do this again. But is there anything before we wrap up, like any last thoughts that any of you have that you want to share? Maybe even advice for each other before we wrap up?
Well, seeing that Makana is in Form 4, I'd just like to give you some advice before I give some general advice. When I was in Form 4 going into Form 5, well, Form 5 I had to choose the amount of subjects that I was doing. I really let a stigma. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it really hurt me. And I wasn't exactly doing what I was capable of doing. So I really let that cut down my potential. So I just want to let you know that if you're capable of doing 17 subjects, do 17 subjects. While keeping a stable mental health, do 17 subjects. So long as it's something that you enjoy doing, it's subjects and the path that you're going on would get you to where you want to go, then I really think that nothing should stop you. Do a lot of extracurriculars and just enjoy the most. Well, try to get the most out of your last 2 years in secondary school, because that's what you would sit back and be like, wow, I went and I picked oranges on this man tree in whatever school you're going in, etc. and stuff like that. Because that's exactly what we did when I was in PVC. We did some questionable stuff, but it was fun. It was fun, and I always remember it.
I cannot say I'm condoning the questionable stuff, but go ahead.
I didn't see what questionable stuff, so it could be simply play basketball on the courts. Yeah, but it was really the highlight of our last 2 years in PVC. Aside from that, the general advice I'd like to give is that to whoever is listening, if you're listening and you don't have a mentor but you have access to getting one, I would really implore you to look into it. Try to get a mentor. It doesn't have to be specifically in the field that you would like to go, but a mentor in general is really helpful. It would, I wouldn't say cut off a lot of the years in your life, but it would help you become a better person overall. How to handle situations, etc. Schoolwork, friends, because they've been through it. They actually know. So they would be able to pass on that knowledge to you, generally in life or specifically in the career that you would like to get into.
Good points. And on that note, just for the listeners, a mentor doesn't have to be something formal. It can just be, like Joshua said, a teacher who, he looked up to and who brought some things to his attention. It could be a family member, like an aunt, an uncle, your parents, your sister, brother, anybody who has your best interests at heart. That's important. And you feel like you trust and you look up to them. Because just being able to bounce ideas off of someone else, being able to share your thoughts about your future, about your career, about school, help you with homework, anything like that can be a mentor. But if you don't know where to go, Grenadian STEAM, like a little shameless plug here, we do have a pretty broad network of people in various careers. If you check out Pathways, a podcast, and all the different people we've spoken to, we can probably find someone for you in just about any career or any field you're interested in. So feel free to reach out to us on social media or send us an email. If you're looking for a mentor, we can help set you up. All right. Makana, you have any thoughts, any comments, any questions even before we wrap up?
Yes, the part before we said about the mentor, like the last 2 years in school, my parents also tell me to enjoy my last 2 years in school, so that when I look back in the past, I could see, well, that I did, and I had fun in school.
Yeah, it's really the best years of your life. I don't want to be like a negative person here, but life only gets harder. No matter how far you go, it only gets harder. You'll still find ways to enjoy it, but you get more responsibilities, all the, you both want to be adults and you want to make your own decisions and so on. And that's great, but it comes with a lot of responsibility and stress. So enjoy where you are right now, even if there's certain things that you wish you could do and you can't. Make the most of it. Just try. That's my 2 cents.
I'm always mindful of where I come from. So a couple months ago, an engineer told me, I went to job training on behalf of TAMCC as a student of TAMCC. Mm-hmm. It's an engineering firm, and he told me that it only takes one person to start that chain reaction, and that to this day that resonates with me. No one in my family has been to university.
Oh.
Yes, no one in my family has been to university. Mm-hmm. Mainly because they don't see the importance of it, mm-hmm. right? They don't see the importance of it, and they don't believe I should go down that route as well. But I see the importance of a degree and having your qualifications and such on. But yeah, and when people, I've observed something, when people, even people in the neighborhood, when they see someone trying to make something for themselves, I don't know, but there's just some they just trigger something in them, and they tend to feel a type of way, as we will say. Mm-hmm, they tend to feel a type of way, and they will want to try to discourage you from pursuing your goals. Studying, what are you doing this for? This, that, and the other. You go in school, go and work after you're done school, and where you're studying university and things for. So especially in my neighborhood, you have to keep your head on. There's everybody in the neighborhood will tell you, you're wasting your time. Even now, as I'm going to town to see, people are telling me, you're wasting your time, why not find a job, this, that, and the other. But I know what, I see the image already, I see the bigger picture. So I'm just taking feasible steps towards that goal. And I'm not taking the mistake. I'm not going to make a big step and fail. Although failing is okay, but yeah, failing is very much okay. You learn from your experiences, but yeah, take feasible steps towards my end product, my goal, and don't let anybody distract me, anybody discourage me. Head straight ahead and working towards that goal.
I like it.
For me, one thing I heard earlier was, I was listening to this song from an album that I dropped I think it was a year ago to this day. And I heard this person say that in the beginning of the song, he said, for some people, the sky is the limit, but for us, the sky is what we stand on to reach the great beyond. And when I heard that, I took that as words of encouragement. Because ever since I heard that, it's really all that's been on my mind. I use that every day. Every time I'm feeling down, I'm feeling not productive at all, I don't know what to do, I go back and I listen to that song for words of motivation, to better myself.
That's a good line to live by. Wow. What song was that?
I think it was Run It Up by Tyler, the Creator.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Chantel, one last chance if you have anything. If you don't, that's fine. But
these days, friends, Mr. Talking to you about something, like if you don't advise with what to do or not, then after you feel like trying at it, you're gonna sit down and talk about it behind your back.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And friends are a big thing. There's this saying that you are the sum or the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, or your 5 closest friends, or whatever you want to call it. And it's kind of like, your parents might have told you, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are, something like that. But it's very true, and it's important. It's something that like you have to learn your lessons when you go through life, but the people that you keep around you is very important. I thought of this when Corey was talking to, because there's the people who will always fight you down for whatever reason, and that has nothing to do with you. It's usually their projections, their history, whatever it is that they're putting on you. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's your life to live, and it's up to you to figure out the next step for you, and also make sure that you have people around you who can support what it is that you want to. Not saying that if you want to go ruin your life, that they should support you in that. But once you're making positive decisions, there should be the people that you keep around you should be the ones that support that. So you live and you learn. All right, guys, this was great. I hope that you all enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you again for being parts of this. And to the listeners, thank you for joining today's Pathway.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the opportunity, and I enjoyed speaking to you and Chantel and Joshua about just our future endeavors and just life on a whole. I really enjoyed it. Had a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, I also enjoyed it, speaking and meeting, people like Corey and you. Well, we and Chantel, we already speak, we go to the same school, but it was, something I could learn from and remember this moment. So I thank you for, inviting us to this podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here with you tonight. And I hope all of our you will be successful in our future.
Hear, hear. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time out. I really appreciate the conversation that we were able to have. And I'm sure that someone listening will also be able to take away from it. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did.
Definitely did.
Great. So thank you. And to the listeners, thank you for joining us on today's Pathway.